Please adhere to YouTube's selected guidelines before viewing the content of this video. I do not encourage or condone any products, actions, or behaviors shown in this video. All videos are produced in a safe, professional, and controlled environment. Please do not attempt to replicate any actions performed during the video. All actions are performed by professionals.
Alrighty, so today I'm going to be reviewing the Uniball 207 gel pens, which honestly I am very excited to give a review to, because this was one of my dad's favorite pens when I was a kid. And because it was one of his favorite pens when I was a kid, there were a lot of them around. So this is a pen that I used a lot when I was a kid. So as such, I am very, very, very excited to revisit this pen right here and to find out if I still like it just as much as I used to. And I will admit, I definitely did used to like it quite a bit, that is for sure, you know what I'm saying? But first off, I'm gonna go ahead and go over the packaging, which I will admit right off the bat kind of thing is a pretty nice look, that is for sure. But after I go over the packaging, I'm gonna go ahead and get one of the pens out, go ahead and let you guys know what the pens look like, what they feel like, and what the quality of them is like, what the ergonomics of them are like, and overall, just how they feel in your hand and everything like that kind of thing, what the weight of them is like and everything like that. And then after that, I'm gonna go ahead and start drawing with, well, one of the Uniball 207 gel pens, and go ahead and let you guys know how these pens actually are for writing and drawing and the like, you know what I'm saying? But first off, as said, we gotta go ahead and go over the packaging, which as said, I feel like is a pretty good, clean look, you know what I'm saying? The entire front of the packaging, there's no color. It's just a white background with black text all over and everything like that kind of thing. And it is a very, very, very clean look, I will admit. Not quite a minimalist look per se, but certainly more so minimalist than not, that is for sure, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just gonna go ahead and start at the top of the packaging right here with the Uniball logo, which of course is just in a black font, you know what I'm saying? We can just see it just as Uniball right there, trademark right there, you know what I'm saying? Certainly no complaints on my behalf, or not, maybe not trademark, but copyright right there. I do suppose is the right way of putting it, that is for sure, but it just says Uniball right there, just the typical Uniball logo, iconic in my personal opinion. The B has a really, really, really big circle in it, that is for sure. And then moving over from the Uniball logo right there, we can just see it just says 207 gel right there, with 207 being in a different font than Uniball and gel being in a different font than all of the rest of this stuff and everything like that kind of thing. Certainly no complaints on my behalf either way. The 207 and the Uniball, I honestly don't know what fonts it's in, but the gel I want to say is probably in like a trebuchet font or something like that, you know what I'm saying? Certainly no complaints on my behalf either way. Certainly a good look that tells you what you need to know immediately when you're looking at the pen, so certainly no complaints on my behalf. There's just a black line above the Uniball 207 gel text right here and everything like that, and there's just some numbers above the black line as well. It just says 33957 PP right there, which I assume is probably just like the product code or the shipping code or something like that kind of thing. Not exactly sure what that might mean, but I'm sure it means something when you're looking at it from a corporate perspective, that is for sure, you know what I'm saying? Under the Uniball 207 gel text right here, we have a very, very, very thin black line just going all the way across, you know what I'm saying? And then we can just see it just says Uni Super Ink trademark right there, you know what I'm saying? All in bold, you know what I'm saying? And then it just says under that in thinner text, it just says protects against water fading and fraud, which is pretty cool. These are very much marketed as professional pens and everything like that, so I do definitely see why they want to protect against water fading and fraud and everything like that, especially since, well, these are pens for the professional person who doesn't want to spend too much, but is still willing to spend more than on just a Bic, one of the cheap Bic pens and everything like that, that is for sure, you know what I'm saying? We can just see there's a little droplet right here with a check mark on it, so that's how you know their Uni Super Ink works really, really, really well and everything like that, you know what I'm saying? That is for sure. We can just see in sort of a round oval right here, or a round oval, of course ovals are round, but in sort of a round rectangle, I definitely have to say, around this text, around this sort of bold text right here, we can just see it just says medium 0.7 millimeter font, which is one of my favorite millimeters, that is for sure, one of my favorites. That's why I picked these up in the 0.7 millimeter font, because, well, it's one of my favorite millimeters, you know what I'm saying? But there's just a sort of rounded edges, rectangle going all the way around that and everything like that, you know what I'm saying? But below that, we can just see there's another very, very, very thin black line going all the way across, and then we can just see it just says black right there, and except this text, unlike all of the other text, except for this right here, and unlike all of the other text on the packaging, is actually in white, and the border going around and everything like that, or the black text, is in sort of a roundy rectangle that the inside of is black, but then the text on the inside of the black rectangle is, well, white and everything like that, you know what I'm saying? So it definitely is a very, very nice contrast, that is for sure. We get a little bit of sort of a droplet right there once again, you know what I'm saying? And then it just says black as said, and then we just see a circle right here with the inside being black, and then the text on the inside of the circle is just white, just like with the black right here and everything like that, that just says 2 count right there, you know what I'm saying? So we know that we are indeed getting 2 pens, which is kind of obvious. This is thin, we're obviously not getting more than 2 pens, but I guess they probably need to state that for some legal reason or something like that. And that's pretty much all there is to the front of the packaging. There's really not much more to it besides the Uni logo right here, which I will admit is very, very, very bold. I really, really do like the Uni logo right here, so certainly no complaints on my behalf. And overall, that is pretty much the front of the packaging. Not really much else to say. There's not really a lot of details. It is just a very clean, not quite minimalist look. But I will admit, one thing I do really like about this packaging is, simply put, the simplicity of it. The simplicity of this packaging is really, really, really nice. It's just white with black text and sometimes white text and everything like that kind of thing in the black right here, but it all works very well together, yet it really makes it very clear where you need to look. You really want to look at this right here when you're actually taking a look at, okay, what pen is this kind of thing, but you immediately know when you're looking at the shelf that this is indeed a Uniball because of the Uni down here and everything like that. It is both somewhat distinct from a distance and still really, really, really good close up, which is definitely something that cannot be said for every piece of pen packaging, that is for sure. And I'm saying, so certainly no complaints on my behalf. I definitely am a fan of this sort of simplistic, clean packaging, that is for sure. And I'm saying. But of course, now that I've covered the front of the packaging and give you guys my final thoughts on the front of the packaging, it is now time for me to go ahead and, well, cover the back of the packaging right here, which I will admit is just as good of a look as the front, and it certainly does tell you a little bit more about the pen, that is for sure. And I'm saying. Starting at the top, we can just see the same numbers that we saw on the front of the packaging right here on the back of the packaging as well, and it's on the same side as well, almost in the same exact place. But we could just see right at the top, we got a very thick black line right there, and then it just says made in Japan, and then we just have a very nice Japanese flag right there. And of course, that's how you know that these pens are quality. They're made in Japan, you know what I'm saying? Every good pen is made in Japan. Actually, I've had some pretty good pens that aren't made in Japan, but a lot of the pens I've tried that I really like are indeed made in Japan. So that's how you know it's a good pen, you know what I'm saying? That's how you know it's a good pen. But under the made in Japan and under the Japanese flag right there, we just get a very thin black line, and then it just says description. Right there, just description. And then it just says the classic 207, period. Preferred by professionals, period. And yeah, this is a pen that they're really trying to market at professionals and people who want a budget pen, but they don't want to carry around a pen that is too expensive just in case they lose it and everything like that kind of thing. This pen is exactly the one. And I do definitely think it's a good look, a very professional look, but I'll be getting to that in just a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And this is all in a very, very nice sort of semi-bold text right here. Then we just get another very thin black line, and then it just says highlights. Well, this is not a highlighter, but I do suppose what they mean is highlights of the pen itself. We can just see three little photos right here. We have the pen drawing right there. We have the grip right here, and then we just have the stylish metal accent right here, and we can just see it just says archival quality pigment based ink right there, you know what I'm saying? And then it just says comfortable textured grip, and then it just says stylish metal accents right there. So it's just showing you all of the cool tidbits and features of the pen and everything like that kind of thing, which is pretty cool. I am looking forward to seeing how the archival quality pigment based ink actually is, that is for sure, and seeing how comfortable the textured grip actually is, that is for sure, you know what I'm saying? Under all of that though, we just get another little black line right there, and then it just says color black with a little droplet right there, and then just another very thin black line, and then it just says uniballcode.com. Copyright 2022, Uniball Corporation, Wheaton, Illinois, 60187, which makes sense. I guess that's their headquarters in the United States, you know what I'm saying? And then we just get a barcode right here, of course, and then it just says guarantee. We guarantee every Uniball writing instrument. For more information, please visit uniballcode.com/return. So if this pen does not work out of the box, I will most certainly be having to hit that website, yep, that is for sure. But I do have a lot of faith that this is going to work right out of the box, that is for sure, you know what I'm saying? And then moving on to the back once again, of course, because there's one more detail that I need to cover before I actually move on to the pens themselves. We can just see it just says Uniball 207 right there, and it's just got a little copyright symbol right there and everything like that, you know what I'm saying? But it just says Uniball 207. Certainly no complaints on my behalf, just telling you once again what this pen actually is. But yeah, that's pretty much all there is to the packaging. I think the front is a really, really good look. Not the most distinct look in the world, that is for sure, but a very nice, simple look. And compared to some more complex pen packaging that you see a lot these days, this honestly does kind of stand out just because of the white packaging with the black text on it, the sort of simple professional look and everything like that kind of thing. Not quite minimalist, but almost minimalist look. I really, really, really do like. And then taking a look at the back of the packaging as well, it's very informational, tells you what you need to know. And then it just says the classic 207, so classic. They're really trying to push that, hey, this is a pen we've sold for a long time kind of thing. This is a pen that is well-renowned and everything like that kind of thing. Saying classic means well-renowned. At least that's how I take it and everything like that kind of thing. And it means it's been around for a long time. So that makes you think that this pen is going to be quality. And then it just says preferred by professionals. And that's just how you know this pen is meant to be something that is supposed to be used by somebody who at least considers themselves to be a somewhat fancy professional, a lawyer, an engineer, somebody who's writing out a lot of documents and everything like that kind of thing. That's who this pen is for. And they've done a great job at selling it on the back of the packaging, that is for sure. You know what I'm saying? But that's pretty much all I have to say about the packaging. So without further ado, it is now time for me to go ahead and, well, rip open the packaging and go ahead and get one of these pens out. So I'm just going to go ahead, rip the entire back off, I do suppose, because this is not, one of these is not wanting to come out very easily. There we go, I got one of them. I'm just gonna go ahead and flip that back up, you know what I'm saying? And go ahead and just put this in my backpack for the moment and go ahead and take a look at the pen itself. The pen itself is a decent look. It is very light right off the bat, I will admit. Definitely lighter than I remember, but overall the look of the pen itself is a pretty good look. I'm gonna go ahead and just start at the tip of the pen right here. We can see the tip of the pen is just a very, very, very nice sort of chrome look, you know what I'm saying? Is it actually metal? I definitely have to say it feels more like metal than plastic, but it might just be plastic covered or metal covered plastic. I'm not exactly sure, but we see a couple indents in there and everything like that kind of thing, which definitely is pretty good for writing for. Definitely gives you just a little bit of texture to hold on to. I definitely do appreciate that, is for sure. But moving on from the chrome tip right here, we just get the textured, comfortable grip and everything like that kind of thing. We get sort of a bar right here, and then the rest of it just has like a bunch of ovals just going all the way around it, just like that. You know what I'm saying? Overall, a pretty good look, and definitely something that is a better texture than not, that is for sure. Definitely better than a lot of other textured grips from other pens. So certainly no complaints on my behalf, that is for sure. And then it just says Uni right here at the top of the grip, and above the Uni right here, it just says Japan. I don't know if you guys can actually see that, but it does indeed say Japan right there. You know what I'm saying? Certainly no complaints on my behalf. And then we could just see the top portion of the pen right here is all clear, you know what I'm saying? Which is really, really, really nice, and it's something I like a lot, and it's something I wish a lot more pens did. The G2, which is my favorite budget pen right now, does it great. I ain't gonna lie. This does it just about as well as the G2. A little bit worse just because it's darker, but honestly, it's worth it kind of thing. It still looks pretty good. And the Papermate Inkjoy gel pen as well does it very, very, very well as well. It's clear. You can see I want to say it's clear, actually. I could be wrong about that. I like the Papermate Inkjoy either way. I can't remember. But the G2 at least does this very, very, very well. So certainly no complaints on my behalf. But wrapping around, we can just see it just says 207 right here in a very, very nice sort of silver text, you know what I'm saying, with a bar underneath and then a triangle, of course. And then there's just a triangle right here as well. So the triangle and then the triangle right there. And then it just goes right down the middle right there, forming a triangle on the tip right there and everything like that. Certainly no complaints on my behalf. A very, very, very interesting look, that is for sure. But as I said, we can just see the top of this is all clear and everything like that. As we get towards the top, though, it turns into black right here. And we could just see the black sort of just stretches all up and around through the clear right there. And then we could just see the metal accents that, of course, were promoted on the box. We could just see on top of the metal accents, though, I'm gonna go ahead and just cover what it says right here and everything like that. First, it just says Uniball, Signo. And honestly, I don't know, is Signo. I don't know why it says Signo. Maybe that's the line the 207 pen is a part of. I really have no clue. But it doesn't really make much sense, in my opinion at least, for it to say Signo. Maybe that's what this pen used to be called. I really don't know. But it doesn't really make much sense for this pen to be called the Signo. I would much rather see 207 right there or something like that kind of thing, because it doesn't say anywhere on the packaging Signo. Maybe it's like Signo? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why they put Signo right there, but either way, the text on this little black bar right here on the metal accents is just all in a very, very nice silver, you know what I'm saying? Certainly no complaints on my behalf. Then under this black right here, we could just see the entire clip is just made out of metal and everything like that. How well does it clip to the inside of my shirt? Does it clip easily? Definitely is taking a little bit of forcing, but if you lift it up, let's go and just try to lift it up real quick. If you lift it up, ooh, it definitely is taking a little bit of forcing. Definitely is not as easy to put into my pocket as a G2 or something like that kind of thing. So the G2 is definitely getting more points right now, in my personal opinion at least. But I will admit this pen definitely does look a lot more fancy than the G2, so it definitely is better in that way, that is for sure. But this sort of metal accent and everything like that kind of thing, unless you're really forcing it or something like that kind of thing, is definitely, at least for shirts like I'm wearing right now, I'm just wearing a Carhartt heavyweight pocket tee. It's really not the greatest for putting it in and everything like that kind of thing. It is a little bit tough, which makes sense. This is metal after all, but bending it up just a little bit. Did that help at all? Not really, in all honesty, you know what I'm saying? Not really, in all honesty. This is pretty firm, though. I will admit this is really, really good quality stuff, so certainly no complaints on my behalf. But we can see where the metal actually meets the pen right here and everything like that. The top of the pen itself is all black, and then the clicker itself has a black portion on the inside. But other than that, it's actually all clear, which is a very, very, very interesting look that I do really, really, really like. Certainly no complaints on my behalf, that is for sure. You know what I'm saying? Clicking it, though, how satisfying is it? It's certainly not the heaviest click in the world, that is for sure. I definitely have to say it's pretty light, in all honesty, but very, very, very satisfying noise when you click it, which is definitely a selling point of mine. I do like a satisfying noise, that is for sure. Very, very, very satisfying when you click it. You get a very nice just clicking feeling and everything like that kind of thing. Definitely, you can tell this is a quality pen, even though it is pretty light. It's not as light as some other pens. It's not as light, in my personal opinion. It is almost as light as the last pen I reviewed, the Sharpie S Gel pen. Almost as light as that, but not quite as light. And just shaking it right off the bat. Nothing really shaking around. There is a little bit of a rattling noise, I will admit. But other than that, I don't really think there's really much going on, and the rattling noise could have just been me accidentally making that noise, in all honesty. But overall, my final thoughts on the actual look of the pen itself is pretty good. Now I want to go ahead and start talking specifically about the quality of the pen. Oh, one other thing I wanted to mention about the look of the pen itself. I think it's a very good look. As said, it's a very nice, professional look, I would definitely have to say. And this is definitely one of the fancier budget pens that you can buy today. That is for sure. And I'm saying definitely a fan of the look of this pen. Definitely a lot more of a fancy look than the Pentel G2. It's Pentel, right? I always forget that. Pilot G2, not Pentel G2. Pilot G2. Definitely not a bigger fan of the look of this pen than the Pilot G2, but I definitely have to say it is a more fancy look. And I'm comparing this pen a lot to the G2 just because the G2 is one of my favorite pens, but also because I feel like this pen and the Pilot G2 really are direct competitors in my personal opinion. The G2 is a little bit cheaper, but this is a little bit more fancy look and everything like that kind of thing, but they really are direct competitors in my personal opinion, as they are both clicky pens and they are both gel pens as well, you know what I'm saying? But overall, yeah, it's a pretty good look. The quality of it as a whole is pretty good. This metal portion is wiggling around a little bit and everything like that kind of thing, but that honestly is probably a better thing than not, because you want it to be able to be stuck in your pocket and everything like that kind of thing. As said, it doesn't really go in your pocket super well, but I'm sure it will if you have a more stiff pocket and everything like that kind of thing. That is for sure. And overall, yeah, I mean, like, it's a pretty good quality pen. Not the heaviest thing in the world, that is for sure. It is a budget pen after all, and it is made out of plastic after all, but it is heavier than some other pens, that is for sure. And definitely, if you like a heavy pen, this may not be for you. But if you don't mind a light pen and you want something that looks a little bit fancy and everything like that kind of thing, right off the bat, I definitely do think this might be for you, that is for sure. But this pen is by no means super heavy, although I will admit the nice accent right here, the nice metal accent right here, does give it a nice little bit of weight at the top, which makes it doesn't make it feel weightless. That was really my issue with the Sharpie S Gel pen that I reviewed last time, is that it felt really weightless and everything like that kind of thing. This, on the other hand, does not feel weightless. So as such, I really, really, really do like I actually do like the weight of this pen quite a bit. It's certainly not heavy enough to be to my preference. I prefer heavier pens personally, but it is heavier than not, and this little accent right here gives you a little bit of weight on the back, which honestly is very, very, very nice. So certainly no complaints on my behalf. Let's just go ahead and get this bit off right here and see. Okay, so this is a good thing right off the bat kind of thing. The spring is indeed in the top of the pen, so you can definitely just buy refills and just shove it in kind of thing. The spring is not on the refill itself, which is a very good thing in my personal opinion, because, well, if the spring is on the refill itself, that means that you can't just use any refill kind of thing. If the refill you have doesn't come with a spring, well, then you're just messed over and everything like that. And I hate it when the spring is on the refill. It is very, very, very annoying, that is for sure, because then you have to buy those specific refills. Sometimes with these pens, of course, you can just buy most any refill kind of thing. For all I know, this might take a G2 insert. I really have no clue. But we can see on the actual ink cartridge itself, it just says Uniball Signo UMR 87, and then it just says Japan 2112. So I assume it was made in December of 2021, and then we can just see it just says K204 on the cartridge as well, and that's pretty much the look of it. That's about as much ink as you get in the pen and everything like that. And I think a pretty good amount of ink, I will admit, not gonna lie. Gonna go ahead and just put this back in here. Very nice flush. It's not rattling around or anything while it's going back, and you can definitely tell this pen wasn't designed for this insert, that is for sure, which makes sense. I think most pens are probably designed for the inserts, but that's pretty much all I wanted to say about the pen itself. To give you guys my final thoughts, I think it's a very good look. I think it's got a very nice light weight to it. It's certainly not the heaviest pen in the world, but it is lighter than not. But it does have a decent weight to it, I will admit. But it is still pretty light, but definitely heavier than alternatives. That is for sure. And I would definitely also have to say, just put my sunglasses on the ground real quick, I definitely also have to say it's just a very nice, professional looking pen that looks a lot more classy than other pens like this on the market today. You know what I'm saying? So certainly no complaints on my behalf, that is for sure. I can definitely see why they're marketing these towards quote unquote professionals. But I think I've pretty much given you guys my final thoughts on that. I think one thing I may have forgotten to cover was the ergonomics. It is pretty comfy, just holding it like this kind of thing. It is pretty comfy and everything like that, so certainly no complaints on my behalf, but I'll have to let you guys know more on the weight and on the ergonomics when I actually start drawing and everything like that, which is actually the next part of the video I'm going to be covering, or which is actually the next part of the pen I'm going to be covering. So without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and click it like that, go ahead and get this little wax thing off the top of the pen just like that, which came off very, very, very easily. I'm gonna go ahead and just shove that in my backpack. It dropped on my chair, thankfully. And I'm gonna go ahead and grab my notebook right here. There was a bug on my notebook because it's been sitting on the ground, you know what I'm saying? There's my notebook right here, you know what I'm saying? Just a cheap IKEA $4 notebook, that is for sure. I definitely gotta upgrade to a Rhodia or something like that soon, that is for sure. But let's just go ahead and flip to a fresh page real quick. Let's go ahead and click the pen. And let's just go ahead and see how it works right off the bat. I'm just gonna start writing and everything like that, you know what I'm saying? So let's just see how it works right off the bat. Okay, so it faded right off the bat kind of thing, but this is a completely fresh pen. That is to be expected, you know what I'm saying? Let's go ahead and give it another go. Faded again. Let's just go ahead and do some dots. Okay, I'm not super impressed with this right now. Okay, so let's just go ahead and flip to another page and go ahead and just continue doing the test. Right off the bat, oof, what's this going on? I am not impressed with this. Right off the bat, this is not nearly as good as I remember. It keeps fading, as we can see kind of thing. It keeps fading. Granted, it is a completely 100% fresh pen and everything like that kind of thing, but even drawing slowly, it does fade somewhat. And then when you start drawing fast, okay, here we go. Oh, no, it started fading and then it came back and then it came back and it starts fading again. Okay. Let's go ahead and switch to another page and let's just go ahead and try this again. This is just the pen getting warmed up after all kind of thing. For all I know, maybe the pen's been sitting, like what, the cartridge was made like literally last year kind of thing. So I definitely have to say it's an old cartridge kind of thing. It's been sitting around for a while. It needs some rejuvenation. So let's just go ahead and continue doing it like this. And as I've continued using the pen now, it definitely does fade a lot less. I'm definitely more impressed now, but it definitely does still fade a little bit kind of thing. But as I keep using it, just keeps getting bolder and bolder. Okay, yeah, I think it's just because the pen was completely new. I'm just gonna continue writing on my sheet of paper just like this, just for another minute, just go ahead and fully warm it up and everything like that. And yeah, it's completely faded out. Okay, yeah. I see why my dad stopped buying these, in all honesty. G2 is a better pen right off the bat. I'm gonna go ahead and draw with this pen though. I'm gonna go ahead and do a little bit of a drawing. So I'm just gonna go ahead and draw just a little circle. I'm just gonna draw a nose and just a little mouth and everything like that kind of thing. Not the perfect drawing, not the most perfect drawing in the world, but hey, it's somewhat, it's going, that is for sure, you know what I'm saying? It's going. All right, so I think my issue with this pen right off the bat, now that I'm using it more, is, excuse me, the fact that right off the bat, it is mildly inconsistent. And one of the key features I really like from pens is consistency. I want the pen to always give me the same line unless the ink is quite literally running out. So especially when the pen is brand new, I want it to give me a very consistent line. And taking a look at my drawing I just drew, we can see some of the lines are quite thick and some of the lines are literally non-existent. I drew there, but there's no lines. And this line right here, I had to go over twice. It's not consistent. It's not consistent, and that really is my issue with this pen right off the bat. Maybe it's just because it's new. I'm gonna go ahead and just do another drawing kind of thing. I think I should, after having drawn that and everything like that, I think this pen should be fully warmed up now. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do another drawing right off the bat. Just a little bit of a better drawing, a little bit more of a time-consuming drawing, and I'm just gonna keep my lines going a little bit slowly as well, because that was one of the things with that drawing, is that I definitely was drawing very quickly and everything like that kind of thing. So maybe this pen is just not a big fan of your hand moving very fast, which definitely is a little bit of a complaint on my behalf as well. But right off the bat kind of thing with this new drawing, it is very comfortable to hold. I find myself holding it like this, where my finger is right on the side of the ridge, not on the ridge, but right on the side of the ridge. I find myself holding it like that, and the grip is very, very nice. My hand, it just rests very, very nicely in the sort of hole in my hand right here and everything like that kind of thing. It is just a very nice texture kind of thing, and there's a little bit of weight to both the bottom of it and the top of it, make it easy, very easy to draw with, even when I'm not drawing on a flat surface, which is pretty nice, that is for sure. So let's just go ahead and finish off this drawing right off the bat. And let's just go ahead and add some more details. I just actually want to get this drawing a little bit detailed, a little bit going and everything like that kind of thing. There we go. Got some extra details. Just like that. Just a line up there. Just like that kind of thing. And yeah, okay. So I definitely have to say with this other drawing, which I know is not the best drawing in the world, I was just sketching and everything like that kind of thing. I will admit, it was much more consistent with this drawing. I definitely do think this pen right here has warmed up just a little bit kind of thing. It was a little bit stale and everything like that kind of thing, that is for sure. I do definitely think it's warmed up a bit, but it's definitely, I'm gonna do some tests. So this was all when I was drawing the lines somewhat slowly kind of thing. I was taking my time. Let's try to draw as fast as I can kind of thing, or let's just go like this kind of thing. Let's just go like this, and let's just see how easy. But if I do it slowly, okay. So, yeah, okay. I think I get what they're trying to do. So, they're trying to make the ink smear resistant. They're trying to make the ink smear resistant. They're trying to make the ink be water resistant and all of that sort of stuff and everything like that kind of thing. So as such, the ink, the insert is not really very good at drawing very fast, because a lot of times with gel pens and with ballpoint pens and stuff like that kind of thing, when you draw very fast, it tends to get very inky. You tend to get a lot of splot on the paper itself, which can smear, and for a professional pen, that is not really something you want. So I think I'm ready to go ahead and give you guys my final thoughts on this pen right here, the Uniball 207, because I think I've drawn with it enough kind of thing, and I've kind of just figured out what I think of this pen these days. My final thoughts on this pen, I'm gonna go ahead and start with the packaging. My final thoughts on this pen, packaging wise, I think the packaging is great. I really do like the packaging. It's very simple, very nice look kind of thing, and it honestly is a very, very good look with the simplicity. It's something I really do like. And I really do like the details. It's not a super detail-oriented packaging, but it looks good. It looks unique, especially compared to all of the colorful pen packaging that you might see on the shelves in Target or Walmart these days. That is for sure, you know what I'm saying? And this is very much a Target or Walmart type of pen. That is for sure. You do not have to go to an art store for this pen. My overall thoughts on the look of the pen itself, I think the pen looks fantastic kind of thing. It looks a little bit more fancy than the typical sort of gel pen and everything like that kind of thing. I do like the pen. Oh, I do like how the pen looks overall, that is for sure. And it overall is made up of some very, very, very nice materials. It has some cool little details and everything like that kind of thing. And overall, I am a pretty big fan of this being clear up here, of the textured grip and everything like that. Weight-wise, It's pretty good. I actually do like holding this pen quite a bit. This definitely gives it a little bit of weight that makes it a little bit more satisfying to hold than other pens in the same price range, I will definitely admit. And the sort of metal down here as well definitely makes it a little bit just more satisfying to hold and everything like that kind of thing as well. Weight-wise, this is a great pen. It's still very light, don't get me wrong. It's certainly not the heaviest pen in the world, but it is better than not, that is for sure. And I definitely have to say, ergonomics-wise kind of thing, it is very easy to hold. The grip is very, very, very nice, very comfortable, that is for sure as well. And overall, it's a very easy pen to hold, very easy to write with. But my issue with this pen does not lie with the packaging, does not lie with how the pen looks, does not lie with how the pen feels, does not lie with the weight of the pen. My issue with this pen is very simple. I don't like how it writes, frankly put. If you are a slow writer, if you are and I'm just gonna actually write some stuff, because I just realized I actually did not write anything when I was doing anything kind of thing. So I'm just gonna go ahead and write, oh wow, now this is very odd, okay. Okay, so I think after doing a test, I was proved a little bit wrong because I just wanted to test it one more time. Writing with this pen is easy. You can write with it quickly. However, you cannot just sort of just go all over the place and everything like that kind of thing, which of course this pen is not meant to do. And I was just thinking it was going to fade out super quickly kind of thing. It does not fade out super quickly, but it does fade out more quickly than I would like. And it's not a super inconsistent pen per se, but it is definitely more inconsistent than I would like. And for that reason, would I buy this pen again? Probably not. Probably not, in all honesty. I like consistency. And while this pen is a really good look and I will enjoy using it for the rest of the time I have it, I don't think I would buy it again. As said, my reason for not wanting to buy this pen again does not lie with the packaging. It does not lie with the look of this pen. It does not lie with how this pen fits in your hand. It does not lie with the weight of this pen. It simply lies with the ink being a little bit inconsistent. It writes a little bit inconsistently, especially when you're writing or drawing for long amounts of time. It might just start fading out all of a sudden and you won't really know. And while that really is not the biggest deal in the world, maybe I'm being a little bit too critical kind of thing. This is most certainly not a bad pen and it's still going to be getting a good rating. But I think I was just expecting like the best thing in the world kind of thing, because I remember these being like the best thing in the world when I was a kid. And as such, I think I'm being a little bit harsh on it. But I was going to test, I think I forgot to test one thing. And the one thing I was going to test was the ink smear. Okay. So right off the bat kind of thing, I just did the smear test right here and everything like that. We can see it smears a little bit, but really the smear is really not all that bad kind of thing. These pens do not smear. That's pretty nice. I ain't gonna lie, I do not like my pens to smear. So I will admit, okay, I forgot to do the smear test. So this pen is definitely sitting a little bit better with me now that I've done the smear test, but I definitely have to say overall the Uniball 207 gel pen, still something I wouldn't buy again. It's a good pen, don't get me wrong. It is a very good pen. I do really like this pen, but it's not something I would buy again. It's a good pen to draw with, good pen to write with. It's a good professional looking pen, but yeah. I don't know, I'm having trouble kind of summarizing my thoughts on this pen right off the bat because the packaging wasn't bad. It feels pretty nice in your hand and everything like that kind of thing. I can't just say, oh, it's just terrible quality, because it's not. It is a good quality pen. It's a nice pen kind of thing. But I don't know. I think my whole thing is I might just prefer the G2. I think that might just be it in all honesty, but I haven't done a review of the G2 yet. I might review the G2 and then have the same experience as I had with just this pen. And I think that's why I'm kind of feeling a little bit, I'm feeling a little bit bad about criticizing it so much. I will admit. I'm feeling a little bit bad. But I definitely think, to summarize my thoughts, the packaging is good, the quality is good, the weight is good kind of thing. For a budget pen it is. It feels really nice in your hand. The ink is very nice and thick when you're writing slowly, but if you want to write quickly, it can become inconsistent at times. But the smear factor is, there's basically no smear kind of thing, which is really, really, really nice, I will admit. And this pen is definitely something I like. And honestly, I know I was acting very critical of this pen during this video and everything like that, it's not going to be getting a bad rating. I did say I wouldn't buy this pen again, and I mean it. I wouldn't buy this pen again. I'd much rather stick to my G2s, but I will certainly enjoy using the rest of this pen, that is for sure. What is the rating I'm thinking, though, for the Uniball 207 gel pen? The rating I'm thinking is solid 8 out of 10. I'm thinking a solid 8 out of 10, honestly. Packaging is pretty good. Looks pretty good as a pen overall, you know what I'm saying? And I definitely have to say it's made up of some very, very, very nice materials. Very nice feel in your hand. A little bit of weight to it, but not the most weight. Certainly no complaints on my behalf. Definitely not the worst price ever either. I think these were about $4 for two or something like that kind of thing. So about $2 a pen. Definitely not the cheapest pen in the world, but also not the most expensive, that is for sure. And I definitely have to say, overall, it's just a very nice, well-rounded pen that is certainly not meant for sloppy drawing like I do, that is for sure, but it doesn't smear kind of thing. The line is decently consistent, but it can become inconsistent at times. And overall, it's certainly not a bad pen. If you're using this just for your signature, or if you're using this just to sign off on documents, or just to look over stuff and do like little X's and stuff like that kind of thing, if you're grading papers with this pen will be just fine. But if you want to do sloppy drawing, if you want to do a lot of writing, if you want to write page after page after page after page, I definitely do think the pen might be a little bit inconsistent for you. So, it makes sense though, I will admit, it makes sense. Because this pen is sold as a professional pen. You're meant to sign off on documents with this pen and everything like that kind of thing. So I get it kind of thing, I get it. Overall though, as said, this pen's going to be getting a solid 8 out of 10. And I definitely do think it's a good pen. I wouldn't buy it again, but as said, I'm gonna be enjoying using the rest of this pen, that is for sure, you know what I'm saying. But thank you very much for watching my review of the Uniball 207 gel pen. I certainly hope you guys have enjoyed watching this review, and if you guys have enjoyed watching this review, of course, please make sure to like and subscribe for more content. I have my Instagram, my book, my merch, my P.O. box, and my main channel, all in the description below, you know what I'm saying? Go check it all out. I think that's just about all I had to say about this pen. I'm feeling like I forgot something, but I can't really remember what I forgot off the top of my head. If I did, I'll probably put in a comment down below or something like that kind of thing. If I didn't, well, there would be no comment down below. But thank you very much for watching, y'all. To the next one. Stay safe and peace and have a great one. And as said, thank you very much for watching. Yes, sir, you know what I'm saying? Until the next one, y'all. Stay safe and peace and have a great one. Yes, sir, you know what I'm saying?